Halas Hall Report, live every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time and Sunday mornings at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Live talking Chicago Bears football with Mike the Bear Fan. And your host, Ken Dobb. Also on the panel, we have the football analyst, Woody, who is named for the Woody wrap-up on game days. Next on the panel, we have Bear Down Mike. He is the youngest, but don't be fooled. This guy knows this Bear squad. He can bring a different insight. Halas Hall Report breaks down the Chicago Bears team all year long, from the offseason through the draft. Also, the legend of tailgating, Billy Defense Flores, joins the crew live at 1st and 10 tailgating. You can find him at all home games at Soldiers Field. Also, the Bear Fan, who has been here since the first year of Halas Hall Report, welcome Bear Fan Dan, where he is known for studs and duds after every game. You can find them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Roku if you have a TV. They are all over social media. You won't find no better sources for Chicago Bears news like injury reports, team updates for breaking news for all the good and the bad the team does. Halas Hall Report will be live for the 6th season. And they are teaming up with the best sports podcast out on social media.
This is Northeast Streaming Sports.
Hey, good morning, Bears fans. Good morning from I-25 North Point of Denver. Of course, I'm with Bear Fan Dan, Mike the Bear Fan, and producer Mike getting stuff right in the back. Welcome to the beginning of the Caleb Williams Rome Odunze era. Of course, this is our first post-draft show. Dan, what do you think about the draft?
I liked the draft. Of course, didn't expect the punter, but in the end, we traded back in and got our edge rusher, so whatever with the punter. I think it was a pretty good draft overall. I like Odunze. I was reading stuff about tackle that we picked up. I can't think of the guy's name. And looked pretty interesting on him. So it was good overall.
Yeah, Mike, pretty interesting draft overall. I mean, we kept 9. We drafted, obviously. We ended up trading back in to get a 5th pick. I mean, are you happy with the draft?
Yeah, I'm happy with the draft. That first round was insane. I mean, it's 16 picks with no defensive tackles or anybody on defense taken. And obviously, Falcons taking a quarterback at 8. Nobody understands. That's just, it threw off everybody, it seems like. Because there was guys that were day 2 picks. They ended up going into the later rounds. So it just kind of messed up the whole draft, but it was exciting.
I know Mike's got a few graphics. Why don't you throw the first one up, Mike? Sorry, I preempted the first one. There we go. Wow. It's a lot of people. 700,000 plus fans in Detroit. Probably the most people Detroit's ever had come in to do anything.
It's amazing.
Probably more than they had for Super Bowl. And there's the of course we knew Caleb was going to go number 1 overall. No surprise there after the summer we've had, or the offseason we've had with trading away Fields. Everyone kind of knew this would happen. Woody, of course, held out hope that it would be Bo Nix. But everyone here happy with the Williams pick?
Yep, we're happy.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if you guys seen it. He didn't run the 40 at the combine or nothing, but he sure was running on stage to get that jersey. He was smiling, screaming, like he was happy for sure. And I don't know if you guys seen the phone call or not, but when they did the phone call, he was like, "Hello," and then Caleb
who's this?
Like, "Hello, who's this?" Right? Like,
no, it was Poles went, "Who's this?" And Caleb kind of chuckled, like, "No, who's this?" So I mean, they knew it was coming, obviously, because he said, "Hey, I have to hold the pick for 5 minutes." Like they had pre-talked this out. It was hilarious.
And Poles said he's been waiting a month. Yeah, for sure. And for all the haters out there, just so you know, he had his fingernails painted blue with white lettering.
There we go.
There we go.
I mean, look at what he was wearing draft night. He was wearing navy blue. Come on.
Yeah, he knew.
It's obvious a sign.
Yeah, I was looking around and I seen this post. And do you guys agree with this post, or is it a little far out?
I agree.
I agree. We got to make the playoffs.
Got to make the playoffs this year. With this team, you got to make the playoffs. I mean, it's with Justin, if Justin were still a Bear, the expectation with Fields would be you have to make the playoffs. I don't think you change the expectation because you swapped out your quarterback. You swapped out the quarterback because you thought this quarterback was going to be better than what you had. So the expectation still has to be playoffs.
For sure.
I don't see any other way around it.
Right.
Now, look, if you don't make the playoffs, you can say, well, rookie quarterback, blah, 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 adjustment. But the expectation is still playoffs.
Yep.
We all knew what the first pick was going to be, but the second pick, it was like a flip-flop. There was only one person in the room that got this. Technically, he's in a car, but hey, Rome Odunze. What do you guys think of that pick?
I loved
it.
Blue chip player at number 9. We all thought Atlanta maybe take an edge or another weapon. They obviously went a different route, and Poles hopped right onto that and grabbed Odunze.
You know what's scary about this? Not only was I right, but if you watch the press conference after the draft Monday or Thursday night, Ryan Poles said he was willing to trade up to get Odunze if he had to. He's like, I almost had to do something crazy. But then it just worked out the way he wanted it to because when they war gamed it out, it was a 50-50 shot. He'd fall at 9. And he was willing to trade up. So Odunze was always the target. They were never going to trade out. They were always going to go after Odunze. Look, the great thing is Keenan Allen, if he's for only a year, he's still got 2 ones on this roster next year. If in 2 years' time you can't re-sign DJ Moore, you still have a number 1 wide receiver on this roster. For the next 5 years, you have your franchise quarterback and a franchise receiver locked up on rookie contracts. Phenomenal pick.
But they were super patient and still got him instead. I'm not saying panic and move up, but they definitely had it, and it went exactly the way they wanted to. And like you said, Eberflus even said it on the video.
They
Caleb got his guy.
Yep.
Caleb was excited when, seeing the videos of him in that when they announced him.
Well, it's funny because pre-draft, and that's a great quote there. I saw that too with Odunze yesterday. He didn't realize Johnny Morris has the achievement record and how low it was. It's the draft. Odunze and Caleb were on the same flight, and they posted on Twitter or on X about it, and then they posted on X after the draft, right? So the Bears did the before the draft, after the draft, or how it started, how it ended. I mean, they've already got a chemistry going before they even got here. And then Odunze yesterday, when he found out about Johnny Morris, was classic. Those of us who grew up in Chicago know Johnny Morris. Even if we weren't old enough to remember him play, he was a sports guy on Channel 2 News. Yes, I grew up watching Johnny Morris do the sports. So I got finally got his helmet last year. I think this year we could have 3 1,000-yard receivers. The question is going to be, is the offensive scheme going to work for that? And is Caleb going to be able to do it? Because, God, he knows he's got enough people he can feed the ball to on this team.
Yeah, if Caleb fails, it's on him.
Yeah.
No more blaming the coaches or anybody. It's him.
Well, there's still a scheme aspect to it. The scheme's got to be good. But, look, I don't think any rookie quarterback has ever been set up this good in at least the last 20, 30 years.
Right.
Come into this situation.
There was argument. You could say JJ went to a great situation in Minnesota. So I can see the argument there because you got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Now you got
Aaron Jones.
So
you got a good defense.
You still got T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
So it's a good comparison. But as far as the wide receiver room, we have the elite of the elite.
Right. And we all thought Williams was going to come because everybody switched their number and said, hey, I don't want 13. But you know what? Williams said, I don't want 13 either. Give me 18.
Yeah.
Well, his old high school number.
And you know what I like about Odunze taking 15? That was Brandon Marshall's jersey. So I just, when I get my salute to service Odunze, I'll have 2 the old school salute to service and the new school salute to service in 15, just 2 different guys. Yeah, Odunze's numbers are phenomenal. And his after the catch, is he's slippery. He's going to be really good.
Oh, for sure. He graded at 89.5, but what impressed me is he only has a 3.2% drop rate. So I believe he only had 3 drops last year.
Jeez.
Yeah, and he's going to be the guy who's going to be in the middle of the field catching for us.
He had 23 deep catches, led the NCAA.
Yeah, him
That's
and
the
DJ Moore
thing.
are the ones over the top.
Well, Keenan Allen can still go over the top too, though. I mean, that's the thing. You got if you're scheming against this offense, and you do a 3 wide receiver set with 1 tight end or 2 tight ends, you're like, crap, someone's going to be wide open. Good morning, Yoli.
Hey, Yoli.
So this is going to be a very hard offense to scheme against. I mean, if you don't get to the quarterback, you're really screwed. And even if you get to Caleb, he might, spear you out, and then you're still screwed. One of those guys is going to be open.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, or DeAndre Swift. I mean, he's got weapons everywhere you look. Yeah, look at that. That is just ridiculous.
Yep, and who's not pictured there is Komet, and he's not even pictured on there.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's no matter what and I guess we're in Colorado Springs now, so we just passed the Olympic Training Center. It doesn't matter what setup they throw. If he gets out of the pocket, if you make him push out of the pocket, he gets arm strength to go anywhere on the field with that many weapons, someone's going to be open. Someone's going to be open.
Yeah.
The question is going to be, can he locate it and fire the ball off accurately? If he can do that, this team is going to be really, really good offense.
Yeah, and that was one of his weaknesses. He doesn't take the easy completions in college. Can he do it here? If you got Cole Kmet coming across when everybody else is, heavily, defensively was heavily defensive, you got to be able to hit that small pass to Kmet for, 5-6 yards, take the easy one, and go with it. Let's see if he can do that, because he couldn't do it in college. And it's not to his fault. It's because he had to put up 45 points because of the sorry defense he had to deal with.
Which he probably won't have to deal with here because we got a top 5 defense. So, but then I like what they did in the 3rd pick. I mean, we were all offense all day with the 3rd pick. This kid, what's great about him, local kid from Hinsdale, went to Yale. The phone call was great from Poles. He calls him up and says, hey, you still in Hinsdale? Like, he's going to come over and hang out for a minute, right? Funny story about him, too, is a year ago he met Eberklus at a golf club that his dad's a member of. And he told him, hey, you're going to be drafting me next year. And they even talked about it on the phone when they called up. But solid rotational piece, future starter for the O-line. I was really happy. Another local guy. We got a couple of local guys on this roster now. I mean, I thought that was a great pickup. I was happy we went O-line. I figured we'd go O-line or D-line. I was happy we went O-line. I mean, I don't have a problem with that pick. I think it was a really good pick.
Yeah. It's definitely going to give Braxton Jones a run for his money at that starting spot.
What was that I heard about the guy only in the last 3 or 4 years has only given up 1 sack?
Yeah, he's good. And he's smart.
Very smart, for sure. But it definitely brings depth.
Yeah. Yeah, whether it's Braxton or Kieran starting, you got a great rotational piece in either one. If God forbid anything happens to Darnell Wright, you got a guy who can go substitute from that we're going to get quality play from.
Right.
And I look at it this way, like, if we had to go between an edge or an O-line, I take the O-line because that's the bigger need. Because edge, as long as you have someone serviceable, it doesn't kill you. But if you only have someone who's barely serviceable on the O-line, that can kill you. And we saw that with Cody Whitehair last year. So it was a good situation, good pick for the Bears. And I just love that we got another hometown guy.
Right. I actually have a quick question for everybody on the panel. It may not have to be Bear related or whatnot, but Who do you think was the steal in the first round of the draft? What player was the steal?
Dallas Turner.
Yeah.
From Minnesota.
Yeah, he got what, 17 pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a steal right there.
I would say Turner or the tight end. What's his name? Great part that the Raiders picked up. That was a steal too. He had hit 15. That's a generational tight end.
The Raiders got Jackson Powers-Johnson in the third round, fourth round. That's a fucking steal.
Yeah. Yeah, but first round, I mean, and the Vikings have a good defense. It just got better.
Yeah. They found their Neil Hunter replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably.
And who was the worst in the draft, though?
In the first round?
At any round. At any team.
Penix.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Dan.
Atlanta.
I
kind of get it, though.
But he's going to be old when he starts. He's going to be 28 when he starts.
Well, he might start this year, though. He might have to start the first couple games.
Oh, no. So you don't pay $180 million for a quarterback to sit on the bench.
It's not. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. Like if he's not ready physically, coming off that Achilles injury, he might not be cleared to play week 1. He might not be cleared for camp. So if Cousins can't go week 1, 2, and 3, then Penix gets to start. So it's insurance too. It's also trade bait.
They're also doing what Green Bay did.
Oh, I don't like what even Green Bay fans didn't like what Green Bay did. You can see that the first round they made their pick. The fans were like, what the hell?
Everybody's like, who's that
guy? Well, from what I heard is they didn't expect the pick, but at the same time, you got to protect your quarterback. So they kind of like the pick because you got to remember they lost Bakhtiari.
Well, and they lost the other kid they had at right guard to New York. You can't go wrong with O-line, I guess. Green Bay loves their O-linemen. But
I mean, we get shocked too because I mean we only had 4 picks and our needs were definitely not in the situation of the 122 pick, even though we were terrible in it. We were 31st in net punting, 38 yards punt. Terrible. So for them to draft a punter with their last pick at 122, yeah, it's a little bit of a reach, but at the same time, they had no other picks. And what I've heard, this kid, he has got a leg, and he's a big kid, 6'4", 232 pounds for a punter.
Yeah, he set NCAA records.
Yeah,
he's Big 12 conference, unanimous, all consensus, all team pro.
Yeah,
like,
he won the Ray Guy Award.
Yeah, he was only the second punter in the last 10 years to be drafted by the 125th pick overall.
Yeah, and he's 26 though.
Yeah,
but this guy's a weapon, though.
These guys can play to like 40s.
People are saying
all you got to do is kick. So I mean, you can pretty much stay 10 to 20 years just kicking.
But the other thing about this kid is, this guy, he's not really a kid. He's 27 years old almost. Is his directional punting, his accuracy is ridiculous, and he pins people within the 5 to 10 yard line at a high rate. So with this offense, let's say they putter out the 40, you punt it. Now he's going to put them at the 5 with the defense. Well, it's a smart move, put it that way. I think it's a smart move because it's another weapon, defensive weapon. That's the first defensive pick we made right there. That was a defensive weapon because he's going to put teams in those situations that it's going to be great for our defense. It puts more pressure on their quarterback, their running back, their old lines, and our defense will break that down eventually.
Yeah, our special teams
go ahead, Mike.
Our special teams went from here to up here.
Yeah, and you got to remember, too, Williams texted him and said, don't worry, you're not going to punt that much. It's okay.
I love that
awesome.
comment. And then what surprised me is we traded back in late. I thought we were trade in would be early, but I like this pick too. We got an edge rusher. I mean, look at this is about the time where Poles finds starters, and maybe he found out there's kids got pretty decent numbers. Um, will he complement on the other side of Sweat? He could be that complementary piece we were looking for.
So I read up on this Austin Booker. He you know who his comp is?
What?
Max Crosby. He was slated to go in day 2.
Yeah, I was literally.
He's got an NBA wingspan. The only thing, his weakness, he needs to put on some more weight or put on some more muscle. He needs to get bigger.
Well, he was 87th overall to go. Is what
I mean, and the size thing though is, look at all these guys when they look at Tyson Bagent from last year to this year. When they hit an NFL program, they bulk up. Bagent looks like twice the size as he was last year, coming in as a backup quarterback now. It's ridiculous. This kid's going to put on more muscle. He's going to put on more speed. He might be the perfect complement to Sweat, and in a division that's probably going to be the best division in football. Just another great complementary piece for the Bears to have.
Yeah, he in college he was playing more of the outside linebacker position, and he when he had this conversation, I think it was either Flus or Poles. He said he's ready to get his hand in the dirt and come after a quarterback.
So, and then the undrafted free agent list is long as usual.
It's not that long this year, actually.
It's about 10. It's always about 10.
I thought it was 15 last year, 13 or 14. We had quite a few.
Yeah, but it's usually right around 10. I mean, this is about average. One or two of these guys might make the roster. I know earlier this morning, Mike called me. We were talking about Austin Reed, 6-year college player, 3 different colleges, phenomenal numbers. Probably end up on the practice squad.
He's going to be a Peterman. He almost threw for 5,000 yards, 4,744 yards with 40 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
You know, I liked how we got brought in a defensive tackle. That's the one thing we didn't draft because we needed defensive tackle. And ULI put a lot of guys into this draft. So he's probably a pretty decently quality player. There's always a few diamonds in the rough, and Cole seems to find them.
Yeah, look, Brendan Bates, we need a third tight end. So he'll probably make the roster.
You know what? I don't know if we're going to go with 3 tight ends or keep an extra receiver because now we get into the question, guys. Only got about 8 minutes left, 7 minutes left. Does this mean Bayless Jones Jr. is gone? Or do we not go with the third tight end to keep an extra wide receiver and Jones is literally just punts and kicks? Or does Adunze take some of that over?
No.
Or does Scott take it over?
I was going to say, me and you already talked, Ken. I believe Jones is about out the door because if you look at it, Adunze's our third receiver. He's got to step into it. I think he's going to take the kickoffs and the punts this year until Keenan Allen's gone the following year. Then we'll find another special teams guy. That's just my opinion. Because hasn't done much on this roster.
In my opinion, Jones is gone, but we also have Dante Pettis. He's not a bad punt returner or kick returner. He's a better wide receiver than Bayless is.
So
what happens if, God forbid, Keenan Allen gets hurt again? We're going to need Adunze healthy, not returning kicks or punts.
True, but as healthy, I think Rome takes the kicks. But I'm with you.
And then, we took Elon Wheeler from Howard as a running back. He could be a return guy, too. The grades. Who graded Adunze a B+? That guy should be shot.
Who graded
an A+?
minus?
And an A- on Caleb. I think everyone would agree.
I covered up who predicted this. It was somebody from CBS. I will throw him under the bus.
No, I mean that's everyone post Thursday said the Bears won the first round, hands down. And it probably that Atlanta lost. That's 2 A+ right there. I mean, This is ridiculous too. What a change a year makes.
From last year to this year.
Yeah.
If I was Justin Fields, I'd be pissed right now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yo, but you know what though? But you know what? I'd be pissed if I was Fields at the same time. At least in his exit, they hooked him up. They asked him, hey, they did right by him. They said, where do you want to go? They could have gotten more for him. They took less to send him to a situation that would help him out professionally. And I think that was Poles kind of tipping the cap, saying, look, we know we're doing you dirty. You know, we put you in a bad situation. Now the situation's good. We're telling you bye, even though you've done nothing but improve and get better every year.
I actually
seen a post.
Yeah, I actually seen a post which would be hilarious if say he's a free agent next year. Nobody picks him up. What do you think about him coming back to Chicago and back up Williams?
He ain't coming back. He's going to go place.
I seen that post and I laughed.
Yeah. Now, it would be hilarious to see a Caleb Williams, Justin Fields Super Bowl matchup.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Yeah. But yeah, the only thing that changed from next year's pick is we actually gave up a pick to move up into the round, which was 1 4th-round pick. So we still got picked for next year.
Yeah, we had multiple. We got 10 picks next year still. So I mean, I don't know what they're going to need next year. Maybe they'll pick up. They'll keep Keenan Allen. They pick up a receiver in the first round, second round next year. I mean, I don't know what that class is going to look like yet, but it's going to be mighty interesting. Mighty interesting. Air Force Academy. Going past the United States Air Force Academy, home of the worst college football team after Navy. Of course, the best being Army. But no, good draft. You know, actually, there was none of the. I didn't see anyone come off the board from any of the service universities. Usually, you get someone from Air Force or Navy or Army gets drafted. No one got drafted from any of the service academies this year.
Yeah, this was a great draft. When they drafted a Tory guy,
but just
I was a little surprising. I mean, I think a lot of us like raised that eyebrow, like, what are we thinking?
Yeah, I did. I'll be honest. I said, a punter, really? And then I read up on him. I was like, oh, okay, this makes a little sense.
You know, he's the highest punter that's been drafted since 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, the highest punter was 70, I think, a couple years back. There was somebody that got picked at 70. I think it was Jacksonville took a punter at 70. Punters don't go. It's field goal kickers that will go early like this, not punters. But kids built like a linebacker is probably the most dominant kicker that's come out of. He was the star player on Iowa's team last year.
Hey, Ken, you might remember this one. He's not the highest punter drafted by the Bears. I looked it up. Todd Sauerbrunn.
Oh, God, I remember
in 1995 was picked number 56 in the second round.
Wow. Yeah. I remember Sauerbrunn. Yeah. That's going old school there.
Fair down, Matt.
Fair down, guys. So that's a good draft. We're about out of time, but hey, next Saturday, are we doing a show or are we going to open mic on Mike?
We'll just do open mics, fine. We'll probably do it for a couple of hours.
Okay, so next Saturday instead of Halas Hall, we'll do open mic for the Huddle Network. Don't forget Ken and Ken in the morning tomorrow. We'll be home and on that. Guys, great draft, great show. From all of us here at Halas Hall, bear down. Have a safe day.
Yeah.